So you're asking, why do I have a shield and a wooden sword? Well, part about me being a pagan is embracing my heritage, my history. My ancestors were Scotch-Irish, okay? And they fought with the claymore, which is what this represents. Now, obviously, I do have a metal claymore at home. I also have my ritual sword at home. But why the shield? Well, this is the size of a shield that our ancestors fought with. Well, my ancestors fought with. And so, when I put on my kilt, and yes, I have one, and my gingari, I get to embrace what my ancestors were for that moment. It helps me connect with them so that I can be more like them. And that is spiritually a wonderful experience. Okay. Now, it took me 4 days to make this shield. And I'm very proud of it. It is 3/4 inch plywood with inch copper pipe cut. I think that was the hardest part, was trying to mold the copper pipe around it. But I have the handles and all of this. In the olden days, they could actually take my shield into battle and protect them. And so, to me, this is a historical connection that I value greatly. I have thought about putting an A-win on my shield, but I'm not sure yet. I have been making many tools that connect me. I created what I call the earth hammer, a tree sword and such. And I think this is another representation. This would be an excellent representation of the earth, because, you know, it is protective and such. You know, if you want to be a pagan, you have to have that connection. You have to have that certain thing that connects you with the world. Okay? Yes, you can honor trees, you can grow plants, and that's a wonderful thing. That is a part of it. You know, you respect to animals, that's another good part of it. But you also have to connect yourself to times in the history of this planet. You got to understand, like the Neolithic era, Paleolithic era, and such. So you can understand what our heritage is. Now, if you want to study the Greek heritage, you want to follow the Greek path, it would be a great idea for you to study Greek history. I mean, and we all know a lot about Greek mythology, the generalities, you know, Zeus, Hera, Hercules, Athena, and such. But learn a little bit more. Build something. Get your hands into it and make that connection. I think we have too many store-bought pagans. You know, the pagans that buy a book, the pagans that will go to a jewelry store and buy something, and this is their representation, this is their connection. There's more than that. I know of many pagans that have tattoos on them, and that for them probably works really great. It makes a very strong connection for them to something that is very important to them. But it is somebody else's energy that's going into making that tattoo. You didn't put it on yourself. And I think it's very important that people build parts of their heritage, that they make a physical connection. like my practice claymore right here. Now, it's not a spiritual thing, but it is a connection to my heritage. It is a connection to my past. And it is my past that is very important to me. Being that I am Scotch-Irish, I consider myself Celtic, and I follow a Druid pathology. So, that means that everything that I build that makes a connection is also a spiritual connection. And I think we all need to do this. Now, I can't speak for every pagan out there. And this is one of the drawbacks here for those of an eclectic Wiccan path. Too many of them have so much this and that pick and choose type of mentality that they are missing aspects of parts of their paths. I mean, they might want to follow Athena, but don't give a darn about Ares. Well, if you look at history, Ares and Athena had a competition. And if you remove that, you're removing part of the aspects of Athena. Because while they were both gods and goddesses of war, there was a difference, because Ares was about battle and bloodshed, whereas Athena was about wisdom. And so you got to have that to make watching the birds. You got to have that bit to make Athena who she is. You just can't just remove certain parts to make things work for you. And because they pick and choose so much, it is very hard for them to do the hands-on in making all these connections into to the core of what they are. As you know, many people believe paganism is not just a religion, it is a way of life. And so if your way of life is just so many aspects thrown together and kind of stitched together in a manner, it's hard to build something that connects that all together. I have Robert Buckland's Scottish Witchcraft, and I just felt so wonderful reading that book. And he talks about the Pickwiccan and all that, and that is a part of my heritage. And so here he's talking about what you need, the basics and all that, and I can make a connection to that. And I built from that. I didn't have to take anything away from it. I was able to take that belief and incorporate that into my view. I didn't say, oh, I like this part and this part. I was able to take it all and put it in, because that is a part of my heritage. And so the point is that you have to be able to make the connections. You can't just pick this and that and say, here it is, nice, neat on the table. You gotta get sometimes dirty, you sometimes gotta find something that you have to spend time on. I mean, like I said, my shield, is a many-day process. And my swords here, they're real basic. And I could build one of these in probably half an hour. But like my chalice, now that one was fun, and it was great because I was able to make a connection with this too. My better half loves Sky vodka, and if you know anything about that, it comes in this dark blue bottle. I was able to take a glass cutter and cut the top off of that and with a file and some nice sandpaper, I was able to smooth off the top. And it's not the perfectly, level drinking surface. No, there's kind of like little soft little valleys into it. It's got a rough edge to it. So it's kind of like water. Yes, we have crystal clear water in some areas, but look on the oceans. You have waves, you have peaks, you have valleys in the water. And it's this beautiful dark blue. That's what that glass represents. And so to me, it represents water better than anything I've ever had before. And that took me roughly 8 hours to build. And so I have that connection to it because I remember in my mind and in my heart of making that, of having that glass that was at one time just a vodka bottle and transforming it into something completely different. And, please think about this on your path. Okay? A lot of my videos here are trying to help people think. I want you to be able not just to follow what I say, but I want you to incorporate what other people say in their videos and read plenty of books. Okay, you can never read enough books. And find out what makes sense to you, what works for you, and build your pagan path that makes you a stronger person. Okay? Goodbye.